Nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do.
Welcome back to GMA3. That was President Joe Biden, his first primetime address since stepping aside from the 2024 race.
So Biden used this moment to outline his priorities for his final months in office and also what he thinks is at stake for the future. And joining us now to discuss what's next in this turbulent election season is ABC's chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, thank you so much for being here. So what were the key takeaways from the speech last night?
Well, first and foremost, Trevor, this was really a moment for the history books, and the president was well aware of that. This was an address that, years from now, children at school will be learning about. And I keep saying this, it really did feel like President Biden's love letter to this country, that he has spent so much of his life and career devoted to serving and protecting and defending. And this was his chance now to come before the American people and explain for himself directly to them this really remarkable decision that he made.
Mary, I'm curious, do you think his speech and what he said will actually have any impact on this race?
I think it will. I mean, look, the president, this is, really a legacy defining moment for him. I think it's not just that he will be remembered for the way in which he left the race, that this is a chance for him to preserve his legacy overall, but the fact that he even made this decision really cements that legacy. It will define it. And the fact that he is passing the torch, something that we know, he was hesitant to do. He ran in 2020 promising to be that bridge, that transitional candidate to the next generation. And then when he announced his re-election, he said he wasn't done finishing the job. And now, last night he said it is finally time for him to fulfill that pledge. It is time for him to pass the torch and making clear that next generation, the person that he thinks is best suited to finish the work of his administration, is Kamala Harris.
And going down that line of thinking, Mary, I think a lot of people were expecting maybe a contested Democratic primary. The vice president has essentially secured this nomination very quickly. So how's she using that momentum now?
Yeah, I'm sure to Kamala Harris it feels like she's been shot out of a cannon. I mean, the whirlwind that she has been through over the last several days, one can only imagine. And the fact that she now basically, has this locked up. She now has enough delegates to be the presumptive nominee. That is a remarkable turn of events, and we are already seeing this. She is hitting the ground running. She is out there on the trail. I was with her just a few days ago out in Milwaukee at that big first rally of hers. And I have to tell you guys, it was clear from the second she stepped onto that stage that this is a whole new race. And I'm not just saying that because she stepped out to Beyonce, which is, not Joe Biden's typical walkout song, but the energy and enthusiasm in this race now is palpable. You can feel it.
She is currently the vice president. She still needs to choose who her running mate is. She obviously knows how important that person will be in this campaign. And if she is elected, do you know anything about where that vetting process stands right now?
Yeah, well, Eva, we do know that process is now underway. Look, with just over 100 days until Election Day, everything is now on this really condensed timeline. This is now a sprint. And I am told from sources close to this process that not only is the vetting process underway, but that they hope to get this done and have an announcement by August 7th. That, of course, is the day that they are doing that virtual roll call vote. The Democratic Party, the day that, of course, Kamala Harris will officially most likely become the nominee. So they want this settled by then. I am told that right now there are about a dozen people on the list. They are casting a wide net, but we do know the names of 4 of them who they are taking a serious look at. And they include the battleground contenders, Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Senator Mark Kelly of the critical state of Arizona, and then those red state governors, Roy Cooper of North Carolina, Andy Beshear of Kentucky. Even when I got out there and talked to voters this week out at her first rally, people are already focused on this. That they, a lot of people that I talked to said they do want, someone who understands the middle of the country, who certainly understands these critical battleground states. The campaign, of course, well aware that so far recently Donald Trump has been leading in those must-win states. So, that is where the choice of a running mate can certainly come into play.
And Mary, you pointed out the president stepped aside only a few days ago. It's still very early in terms of polling data. But what do we know so far in terms of how Kamala Harris and Donald Trump stack up against each other?
Yeah, we have seen at least one poll come out, since this remarkable historic turn of events, and it does show Kamala Harris up by 2 points nationally, 44 to 42. So a change there. That lead actually doubles though when a third-party candidate like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. gets into the mix. So those certainly are welcome signs for Democrats. But again, guys, it is early. That's just one poll. We got to see where this goes.
One of the other things people always look at are the young voters and those other key demographics. What are we seeing there?
Yeah, some interesting numbers here to go through. So, in April and June, Donald Trump was actually up 7 points among young voters. Now Harris is up 4 points among black voters. President Biden was up 47 points. Harris is at 63. So you're seeing her gaining some strides. Hispanic voters, Donald Trump was up 9 points in April, June. Now Trump is up 2. So clearly a sign that Harris is, tightening that lead a bit.
And even that 44 to 42% within the margin of error. This is definitely a very tight race. Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce, always great to talk to you.
Thanks, guys.